how to make sports betting a secondary source of income. This video is for you that doesn't have 10, 20 G's just sitting in an account. It's for more of a range of if your bankroll is about $250 to $750 to $1,000 to see how you can make a little bit of money just as a secondary source of income, whether it's a couple $100 or sometimes maybe $1,000 or $2,000. This is how you get started with, $250 to maybe $1,000 in your bankroll. So what we're gonna do is, first off, I do want to discuss is unit size. Your unit size is what the amount of money that you place per bet. So when it comes to your unit size, whether you have, let's say, the $250 in your bankroll to $1,000 in your bankroll, it varies, okay? We're gonna use 5% of that bankroll at the beginning, okay? 5% is gonna be what your unit size is gonna be. 5% of your bankroll. I know in some other videos, maybe that you've seen of ours, we say use 1 to 2% of your bankroll. Well, that is once we get to the next level, because we need to jumpstart this bankroll. We got to get this $250 to $1,000. We have to get this up to $3,000 or $4,000. We can get up to $3,000 or $4,000. We can be a little bit comfortable with it. Then we can hit that 1 to 2%. Okay, so as soon as we get up to that mark, then we're able to switch gears a little bit. You don't have to risk so much. We're only risking 1 to 2% of your bankroll. Now it's very important because when you get up to that level, you're betting 5% of your bankroll. When it comes to $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 bankrolls, you're betting a lot of money. So you need to be hitting, because a bad day can really do a lot to your bankroll. So with this type of money, we're going to use 5% unit size. It's going to be our bankroll to start off with. Now, what we're going to be aiming for, this is what we're aiming for every month in and month out for building this bankroll. We want to hit +1 unit each day. All right, so +1 unit for each day. Reason for that is no matter if you're placing just 1 bet, 3 bets, 5 bets, let's try to make 1 unit. You got to think, if you make 1 unit a day, if you can average out somehow throughout 30 days, if you can average out 1 unit per day, that's 30 units over the whole entire month. You're 30 times in whatever your unit size is. So let's say your unit size is 25 bucks. Now you're 30 times 25 is what you're making in that month. So you can see, it doesn't seem like much maybe on a day-to-day basis. Like, let's say you win $24, $23 in one day with 1 unit. It doesn't seem like much, right? But when it comes to you're adding it on to times 30, now you start adding up a little bit. Now there's gonna be days where you lose. That's just the way it goes in sports betting. There's gonna be days where you lose units, and there's gonna be days where you win multiple units. As long as we can average it out somehow to make it to where you're up about a unit per day, you're gonna be successful, and you're gonna be able to really build your bankroll up and get to that level of 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 of just a repetition of keep doing it. So I do want to mention though, +1 unit each day, guys. It doesn't seem that hard, right? But it definitely is. It's not easy. It's not something that's very easy just to be able to get 1 every single day. All right. So most important thing in this strategy, like I said, try to get that 1 unit per day, whether it's 1 bet, 3 bets, or 5 bets. Definitely aim to get +1 unit per day. Okay, guys, so now I want to discuss, once we do, after a couple months of discipline and playing like this, once we do reach that $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 mark in your bankroll. So if we have 3K, 5K, or 10K, what we're going to aim for here, like I said, we're going to coast off a little bit. We're going to go 1 to 2% of our bankroll now, once we get to this level. Because there's no reason for us to risk 5%, because we're at a comfortable level to make a secondary source of income when it comes to 3,000, 5,000, okay? So when we're reaching that 1 to 2% on 3,000, 5,000, we're doing all right. If we can hit 1 unit a day, we're making a pretty good source of income as a secondary source of income. Those of you that are interested in the main source of income to do this for a living, make sure you guys go up, check the description, and we will throw a link up there to our other video that shows you when you do have that $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 bankroll, how to make this a living to where this is your primary source of income. So if that's something you guys are interested in, make sure you guys visit the other video that we posted, because there's a lot of value in there to make you be able to do this for a living. All right, so now I want to discuss with you guys the top 2 things what you're going to need for this strategy and just sports betting 101 in general. The top 2 things that you definitely need to know when it comes to sports betting in any strategy, guys. You got to have, number 1 is discipline. Got to have discipline. All right, guys, because the reason you have to have discipline is because those days when you do lose, it feels horrible. You feel like you did nothing. You feel like you just donated your money and you're irking to get it back. You're irking to get that money back, so you become undisciplined. Then you start spending more money per bet that you don't need to be doing. Then you start chopping that bankroll down because you're making bad bets, because you're just thinking in your mind, I'll bet anything just to get that money back. Whether it's, a college football game that starts at 10 o'clock at night, or if it's ping pong in the middle of the night or something. You got to remain disciplined. You can't stray, and you can't tilt. You can't bet more money than what your bankroll allows you to, because this is the sports betting game. Now, if you cannot stay disciplined, guys, sports betting is not the game for you. It's just not. You got to face it, because it takes discipline to be able to manage a bankroll and to keep it at a certain pace and really keep that bankroll steadily going up instead of just chopping it down in half. Whether it's in 1 day or 2 days, you end up losing almost all your bankroll because you stayed undisciplined. All right, guys, now the second thing I do want to go over that goes hand in hand with discipline is consistency and being consistent when it comes to sports betting. These things right here, I drew a little arrow so you can zoom in on them, go hand in hand as the most important things. Being consistent means you're betting day in and day out, like it's a second job, like it's a secondary source of income. It's not something that you just do for fun or that's just a hobby. Okay, guys? So that's why these go hand in hand. You got to stay disciplined. There are random days throughout the year where there's no sports on one day. Those could be your days off. Those are the days you can relax and not have to really worry about anything. Those don't come that often. You have to keep going. You got to do this every single day, because if you don't, you might miss a day where you had a winning day. And if you miss that day, that screws up your whole entire calendar. That screws up your whole sports betting portfolio, because now let's say you would have went 3-0 on that day. Well, you skipped it because you had something to do and you were undisciplined and you didn't bet it. You had something else better to do. Well, now you missed out on a good day. So you really have screwed yourself. So you really can't do that. You have to stay disciplined, have to stay consistent, guys. Very important that those two things, that you follow those, whether it's with this strategy or just sports betting in general. Those go hand in hand, and those go right under the subject of bankroll management. You gotta know those are the most important things in sports betting. All right, guys, so now we're gonna go through last 2 months. We're gonna throw up a little bit of an example here of what it would look like, after you're hitting 30 units, let's say, a month, pretty close to that. We're gonna throw it up and show you guys. Now let's go for an example over 2 months. Let's just throw an example and say you're plus 58 units. All right, so you're plus 58 units. Here's the thing, that's almost basically like 30 a month. Now, that's basically almost what you're aiming for. Now, you're getting pretty close to that. So let's say that you're a $25 bettor. Let's say you're betting $25 a game. Now, that's what your bankroll allows you to do at $25 a game. Now, times that by 58 over those 2 months, now you've made $1,450. So as a secondary source of income, that's pretty good. Now, you chop that in half, that's around $700 something. So you're gonna be happy with that. You're going to be, as a secondary source, that's somebody's card payment. That's, that would help out with things. So you definitely want to look at that when it comes to $25 betting. You can see $1,450 now. Obviously, let's go up one to $50 a bet. And let's say that's your unit size. Let's say you hit 58 units. Now you're looking at $2,900. See how now you're going up. You're going up with the more money you're betting per bet. The bigger your bankroll allows you to do it. The more you're betting, the more money you're making. Now you're making $2,900 in 2 months. Now you're really racking in some extra income there. So that income's almost $1,500 a month right there. You're building up that money and you're building up your bankroll. The higher your bankroll goes, the higher the money that you're gonna make, obviously, all right? That's just common sense there. I do want to let you guys know though that this example that we did give you is our last 2 months. So in our last 2 months, we made the 58 units, and everybody that was a part of our stuff, this is what they made, whether they're $25, $50. We have a lot of $100 and more bettors, so they did pretty well for the last 2 months just based off of our example here. So this is what we aim for, guys. We aim for 30 units a month. We can hit 30 units a month. This is typically small. $25 is typically, in the sports betting world, that's small money to bet. But look, you're still making a good amount of money. Like, it's nothing to sneeze at. Still more money than what you had when you started the month, right? Very good to check that out. And like I said, the more money you go, the more money you bet, the more you're gonna make. And that's just the way you build more income, guys, whether it's the main source, whether it's secondary, whether it's a third source, fourth source, somewhere you're gonna make more money. And this is how you do it.